Welcome to video number 2, Sekhmet's Sacred Principles. Now, I've already recorded the first part just a couple of days ago. So if you haven't seen that yet, pause, go back there, and then come back and meet me, because that was the first 4 principles. Now, before I get stuck into it, I just want to explain to you about these principles. We've been working with the principles of Ma'at, the Hermetic principles, all of the things. Now, principles, really, the best way to understand this, especially when it comes to the gods and goddesses, is like their CV. That's what I call it. So we have Thoth, who's the god of alchemy and the god of teaching, and the moon, and so on and so forth. That would be his CV, his principles, his superpowers, right? You've got Isis, who is all about understanding life and death, clarity, unconditional love, healing, also magic. She's very, very powerful in her magic. Those are her principles. So Sekhmet has her own as well, which are very Ma'at orientated. Okay, you're an upholder of Ma'at, as am I, and of course she is as well. So, so that is why when you go for the Sekhmet principles, there's a lot of reference to balance and order and everything like that, which is very, very similar to the Ma'at principles, because they're kind of one of the same, because she's an upholder of that. So we've already done the first 4 principles, and the way you really, really get the magic, you squeeze the magic and medicine out of this, the Heka, is, in truth, if you really want to exponentially skyrocket into your life and get all the beautiful things, the abundance and success, which is joy, you've got to start applying these ancient principles. You actually know them, they're locked down deep inside you've been living by them without realizing it. But the whole thing with the human experience, we're here to master the human experience, and these principles are the principles that help us do that, because this is where the party is, in this physical body. But most of us shy away from the human experience because we just want to be in the stars and we don't want to do everything spiritual and that kind of thing. But that's not mastery. We have to master the starseed and the physical body living in this physical world, which has a lot of stuff that gets thrown at us. So we need to master that. We can't avoid it. So once we have given submission to loving our human self, our human aspects, then we can actually take the principles and apply them and see what happens as far as our success goes, and our success codes go in our everyday life. That's when things really start to take off, actually being human, a starseed human. So we really want to I really want to put that in the sacred circle right now, that we really need to be accepting that the human aspect of us is actually the final key to all of this magic. And it's the very last place we've ever wanted to go, because we're human. It's so restrictive, but it's actually the one that holds the keys. So being in this physical body, mastering the human experience with all of your superpowers on fleek, then that's mastery, right? So let me dive in now to the last 4, or the second run of the Sekhmet principles. Principle number 5, healing, Heka, magic and medicine, right? So care for yourself and then for others. Caring for yourself does heal others. And I've spoken about this a lot. So we all know that Sekhmet is the goddess of healing, even though she's the goddess of war and all the other things. But she is a powerful, powerful healer, really powerful healer. And you know what? When you say healing, Sekhmet in most people's minds is not the first place we dive to. But I do, because she's so powerful. So I'd really like to put that principle up front and center. And maybe you're going to connect with Sekhmet in a different way, different entry point with her, and knowing her as that, if you don't already, and bringing that healing energy in. So that's Heka. Heka is magic and medicine. So heal yourself and your children will heal. I've always said that. And I say that because that's just my tagline. And that's actually more to do with being a starseed mum and all the rest of it. When I was having problems, with my kids being very starseedy and very sensitive, I was trying to fix them. Years ago, I was like, why can't I help them? Why can't I do this? And I was just doing everything I could to heal them. But then one of my medicine mommies, who's now passed away, said to me, heal yourself and your children will heal. And I remember at the time thinking, that is absolutely no use to me whatsoever, but thanks. I was actually in ayahuasca at the time and I dismissed it. But guess what? Flash forward nearly 10 years down the line now, that's exactly what I did. And now, as a result of that, my children, well, they're grown now, actually. They're 18 and 23, but they have absolutely flown. And they have found themselves, and I've been this perfect mirror and guide for them, because I did my own healing on me. I didn't worry about them. I did me, because I'm their mirror, I suppose. You know what I mean? So in a way, even if we're not talking about starseed kids here or whatever, heal yourself and the world will heal. Let's say that. right? You want to be, like be the change you want to, what is it? Be the change you want to see in the world, and we kill ourselves, we tire ourselves out trying to fix everything out there, when actually true change comes from your own inner work and your own inner healing. You want to change your perspective. Now, this is the principle of mentalism, the Hermetic principles, bringing another one in on a principle. This is basically change what you perceive. If you see something different, then your whole world is going to change. And that comes down to belief systems. And the belief system is in place because you're holding a trauma with a past experience. So we need to change. We need to change how we hold our lives in how we perceive things. And that's changing the belief system, healing the core wound, right? Did a weird, big full circle there, but we understand that, right? So changing your belief systems and how you see things, heal, and everything out here will change for you, right? Taking responsibility, right? That's what it is. Sacred medicine. So I've written here basically how you can actually heal. I mean, I've done so many videos on here, so I'm not going to go into it full on. But how do you apply this principle every day in your life now? Taking responsibility, being in a receiving mode in every way, shape, or form. Sacred medicine can come in drumming, singing, dancing. It doesn't even have to be like proper spiritual music. You can just put on Guns N' Roses and headbang like you like there's no tomorrow. Do it. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. Dance like nobody's watching. So that's your medicine. Altars. Create your altar. Honor the god, the goddess, which is you, okay? Gives you a direct telephone line to spirit so you can receive and heal, right? Very powerful. That's where your prayers come in, okay? So rituals for health, healing is all about rituals, okay? Rituals for health, how does that look now? I mean, yes, okay, we could say ayahuasca and things like that and all the ceremonies and cacao, blah, blah, blah. Everyday life, let's keep it super real, the human aspect of us. Go to the gym, walk up a mountain, make sure you mindfully move your body. The body needs to shift frequency and energy. It's not always about getting beach body ready. It's about giving to you. Your physical body has to move, just like your energy bodies need to be cleaned, right? And they need to be activated and all of the things. So give to yourself physically, good food, good exercise. That's a ritual, okay? So heal the sickness in you and you heal the world out there. I'm just going to leave that one there. That's principle number 5. Now, principle number 6, strength, endurance, tenacity, resilience. Okay. So this is all. So let's just surmise this one, strength and endurance. Yeah. Strength and endurance. This is about having, and not through the fact that you're basically your knuckles are bloodied and you're dragging yourself through. No, it's not about that. Endurance is it's a harnessing of one's power. It's working efficiently, okay, with your energy, less doing, more presence. In fact, the more still that you are doing nothing, okay, the more productive you actually are, believe it or not. Do you know what I mean? That's the divine feminine at play, right? We're all starting to understand that now, that presence is key. So I've written here, lions in the wild, observe them. Strength, endurance, tenacity, resilience. Like, for us to understand how we can actually become that and be that, observe nature, man. Like, it's so powerful. Like, when I go out to the bush, like in Zimbabwe, because I live in South Africa, but in Africa, in Zimbabwe, on the weekends, we're so blessed that like our weekend hangout would be just going to the bush and watching the lions and the buffalo and the hippo in the water, and I'm always been like, wow, but I was able to just observe. I wasn't in a safari camp or anything like that. I'm in nature with these beautiful beings. And I have watched how they hunt. I have watched how they look after their cubs, how it's a team effort. And even though the women, which are the lionesses, go out and hunt and they do all the hard work, and then only then does the male lion come in and feed. But hang on a minute, he protects their space. He basically proclaims his power to the sun and to the borders, right? To say to any other male lions, you ain't coming in here. These are my women and these are my babas. You know what I mean? And nobody's going to come in and mess with them, right? So there is a balance, there is a hierarchy, and there is an order and balance to that collective as a lion pride goes. And it works. It really, really works, and those lionesses, they fiercely fiercely fight for one another, especially when you see the buffalo come in and the hyena and everything like that. You see these prides come together. It is incredible. And I've actually seen that in the wild. And, you know, the mothers look after each other's cubs and things like that. So it really is a very, very powerful thing to observe. And if you can't get to the Zimbabwe bush or whatever in person, obviously, just go and watch it on a nature program and just observe them and see how that ignites your understanding of the earth lion Sekhmet, you know, in real terms, right? Family, pride, children, hunting, working together, protecting, like the divine masculine protecting, you know what I mean? And also strength, endurance, tenacity, and all that kind of thing. That is giving you the power to face your shadow head on. So calling on the sixth principle of Sekhmet, and you'll say, Mother, please bring me your strength, tenacity to be able to ... face my shadow. Because let's face it, shadow work is not easy. Otherwise, everyone will be doing it. We've been resisting that because it's so flippin' sore. But now we're actually realizing that the shadow is untapped power and we're willing to go in there. But through the sacred principles of Sekhmet, you're going to be more willing to do that, right? Now, number 7, okay? Mastery, responsibility. Mastering your human experience, which I've just spoken about, right? So emotions, belief systems, physical vessels, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, we've got to have all of that self-care. You have to come first, because if you do not, basically, if you don't start here and come with this inner presence, you're just chasing your ass and doing. This starts dwindling. You start wasting away, as it were, because your energy is just being spilt everywhere. You cannot work efficiently because your cup's not full and you're not top of the waterfall. So if you're at the bottom, then forever be depleted and you're just going to be in the chaos all the time. So, you know, for this mastery and responsibility, one thing I would like to share with you, if you get resentful for your day, okay, that means resentment is a beautiful gift because it tells you that your needs aren't met. So when you get resentful, instead of going after the person, place, or situation that's pissed you off and going, well, you know what? Maybe just stop and go, oh, hang on a minute. If I'm feeling resentful, I haven't put team me first somewhere. I haven't seen to my needs somewhere. So go back in and address that, and then that will change, right? Then, okay, so mastery avoids misuse of power. Okay, so a lot of us kind of like, you know, have experienced, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, what our egos feel like. They can really mess with your pip and it can tell you all sorts of things and get you involved in all sorts of drama, and it doesn't come out well. Do you know what I mean? But also as well, mastery avoids misuse of power, as in power over another. Do you know what I mean? So the need to be right. You know, are you a spiritual bully, or are you somebody who's basically shrinks and goes small? Either way, those are both trauma responses to fear. So really, it doesn't matter if somebody's being a spiritual bully or just a bully. It doesn't really matter if somebody's going super small and shrinking. Either way, let's look at the actual issue here. There's fear there. So to be big in your power and in somebody's face, you're hiding something, right? To be so small, you're hiding from something. It's fear. So let's address the fear. So the way we address the fear is basically taking responsibility for the shadow inside. So like, let's go inside and go, well, why am I fearful? Remember, fear is not coming at you, bro. It's kind of tweaking to say, hey, I've got a soul part in here. I've got some magic that you could really use right now. Do you know what I mean? Hey, woo. Do you know what I mean? But we ignore it because we're like, whoa, fear, let's get away from that and let me be a bully. Let's get away from that and let me be tiny, tiny, curled up and be small. You know, so let's look at that. Mastery, responsibility. So this is principle number 7, taking responsibility. So what have I written here? The one and only, basically what I've written here is becoming sovereign. Okay. This is, you know, this is the pathway to sovereignty. Okay. Sovereignty doesn't mean that you're going to sit in your big fat, you know, throne and be better than everybody else with your crown on. Where's my crown? There. Do you know why I've got that there? Is to remind me that I am sovereign, okay? Not through an egotistical place, from an energetic, like we're all one space, right? So sovereignty, sovereign, king, queen, big shoulders, capable of guiding, leading, presence, making decisions, embodiment. That's what I've written here, right? So this mastery and responsibility takes you to that sovereign, king, queen, big shoulders. I mean, that's what a sovereign king or queen does, doesn't it? Like good integral ones, you know, that they give to their people. They see that their people's needs are met. In fact, Queen Hatshepsut, who was a very, very powerful pharaoh. She was a pharaoh. She was obviously a queen, but she was a pharaoh queen, you know, and she really, really reigned her people, and she had them connect with their masculine and feminine frequencies. It was just all so balanced, and she brought much abundance to her people, and they loved her for that. And she was also like very gifted, very, very gifted, very psychically gifted, and everything. She just understood the mysteries because she was schooled at a very young age to actually know that, you know. And when she actually came into power, she was one of the best pharaohs, you know what I mean? And she was a queen, and it was a very, very successful reign when she was in power. So in a way, sovereign, I mean, she's a mixture of the both. Connect with her as a king or queen, whatever. So that is, you know, the mastery, and taking responsibility is going to take you to your mastery. It's the one pathway forward, right? So now the final one, number 8, the divine feminine within. This is men and women. Okay, men and women in physical form, or whatever gender you connect to, whatever, we all have a divine feminine component, meaning it actually goes to the Hermetic principles of gender. There is always a divine masculine and divine feminine component, right? So this is not about physical sexuality, all right? But the divine feminine within is a presence. It is, it's the mystery. It's there is no real answers. It just is, right? And the divine feminine is the creation codes, is the womb, it's the cosmic womb we all came from. It's the place that we go when we go to sleep at night, and we get reborn in the morning. It's like, you know, it's the place we go when we surrender and die into our shadow and allow it to be transformed into something else. That's where we go, into the divine feminine. So be fierce and beautiful. This is the balance, right? There's always the balance. Heart open, presence, leadership through love. That is what a divine masculine, divine feminine balance looks like. Leadership through love. Okay. That's kind of like, that's the divine feminine. She leads, or your aspects of that leads through heart-based reality. Divine masculine is basically holds you in that template, protecting you, making you feel safe. It's okay to be human. It's okay to be in this physical body. So the divine feminine within, how do you find that balance, and how do you come into your leadership through love? Not leadership having to step up, especially if you're a woman with a whole bunch of guys at work. You know what I mean? You don't have to wear the trousers. It's like, how do we shift that? You know, and vice versa, because a man can be in a very woman orientated place and kind of get emasculated. So how does he find his divine masculine faced with such powerful pheromones? Do you know what I mean? So it's all about balance. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is your final 4 principles of Sekhmet. And I really do hope that I helped in kind of like living them in physical form. So see how that settles, let it marinate, maybe pick a principle a day, or maybe write out all these principles, close your eyes, stick a finger on it, and see what comes up for you, and choose one. Use them like oracle cards. But yeah, very, very powerful principles of Sekhmet. So I am going to leave that there. And thank you so much for receiving these teachings always. Now, for those of you who want to really, really deep dive into the next level, because we have been thundering along on this channel. So many of you have gone through massive shifts and just like, pooh. And I have had, I'm not lying, about 10 conversations this week of people saying, wow, got these gifts. Like, it's here, I've unlocked everything, what do I do now? Well, maybe it's tablets of light in May that you need to step into, because that is the reason why that portal is there, to enter into that final initiation, reclamation of power. Once you move through that portal, you know exactly what your physical life, your human experience is going to look like, how you express your gifts in the world. So it's like one big Hecacodes mentorship, walking with me in Egypt in May. So if that resonates or makes you tingle in any way, let's get in touch. Let's have a conversation, you know, but also as well, there's many other things next year, which is really going to kind of like tantalize your frequency. And it's all there for the purpose of landing as a conscious creator and master, finally expressing your gifts in the world in the way that you were meant to, right? You know what I mean? Exactly as you were meant, as Sekhmet would say. So let that settle. And yeah, and this is the video for now. I've got lots more content coming. So like I say, like and subscribe, put your notifications on, because we've got the 11/11 portal as well, live ceremony with Sekhmet. Lots of exciting things coming for this month. Thank you for watching. Peace.